A deadly sandstorm draws near, and inside it, a ship full of post-apocalyptic pirates who want nothing more than to cause chaos on our island. But how did we go from Zeus striking Pandora's box to end mortal kind, to a sandstorm and a ship full of pirates being unleashed? In this video, I'll be explaining the true events that occurred during our mini live event last week. Consider using my code TLLTheReaper in the item shop if you'd like to support me, and without further ado, let's explore the mystery of Pandora's gem. Last week we watched as day by day Zeus' statue began to charge up. The clouds turned dark and began sparking with lightning. After a full day of charging up, the lightning from the clouds struck the statue, activating it for Zeus' plan. Here's where things start to get interesting. The statue lifted its charged sword into the sky, sending a powerful bolt of electricity directly down onto Pandora's box. Zeus didn't want to strike the island, or to even harm us directly. What he did was aim directly at the box, but more specifically, the glowing gem at the front. The last time this gem meant anything, we were watching it shift through the Olympian symbols back in season 1, teasing the gods and goddesses that were set to arrive. But now, Zeus is setting his lightning bolts directly to it. After the first strike, we could go up to the box and see a liquid inside of the gem, about halfway full. Throughout the next couple days, the gem was struck 2 more times, eventually completely filling it up with whatever this substance is. Oh, and while this was happening, the box was going through with the files referenced as an overload, and the heat of the lightning was radiating into the Styx River and heating it up. Trust me, we'll get back to all of this later and make it all make sense. I just have to explain all the little things that happened first, but now we get to the main live event. When the statue began charging up for its final strike, we noticed something off. Suddenly, Zeus' lightning was red. The rest of the sequence played out the same as the previous 2, raising the sword and sending lightning into the sky. But this time when it hit the box, a massive explosion shockwaved out. The gem was completely filled, and now it's overloading. A couple seconds later, we watch it completely explode and a giant ball of energy emerges. It jumps out, seemingly unstable, and bounces all the way out into the middle of the ocean before hitting a desert island and exploding once again, and in turn creating a powerful sandstorm. After this, the main part of this mini event is concluded, and now the sandstorm slowly grows near as we get closer and closer to Season 3's launch. Aside from the sandstorm drawing near, the mysterious red light we saw in the storm that appeared after the event draws near too, and a couple days ago, it was revealed to be a ship named Sharkbait. But all of this leaves us with a ton of questions. Why was the gem filling up with liquid? Why did it exploding lead to a storm being created and a ship setting sail towards our island? And finally, why was Zeus's lightning red? These are all questions we're going to answer now that we've covered the event. So here's a quick reminder to subscribe if you like my content. And also, I'd like to give a huge shout out to Timeless Order on Twitter for helping out with today's explanations. Okay, let's start with this gem. When looking at it, it seems like the gem is a seal on Pandora's box, keeping it shut with the Olympian sigils, which if you don't know what that is, it's basically the symbols representing each of the Olympians. Since the box opening seems to have called the Olympians to the island, it seems likely to me this gem is directly linked to their power. So why was Zeus trying to crack it open in the finale of the mini event? Well, like I just said, the seal is entirely made up of Olympian power. Zeus, defeated from his original goal of wiping out mankind, had one last trick up his sleeve. He decided he would use his statue to overload the gem and unleash the godly power that Pandora's box was sealed by. By doing this, he didn't actually let anything out of the box, because everything was already out after it was opened last season. But what he did do was unleash the Olympians' power, in hopes it would end up destroying mankind itself. And it seems like his plan partially worked. This unstable ball of energy that erupted out of the shattered gem quickly shot across the island and out into the ocean. When it exploded, the force and energy of the impact whipped up sand from the desert it landed on and turned it into a giant sandstorm, which means what we have coming is pretty much an Olympian-powered sandstorm. So yeah, pretty dangerous. But this theory also explains why we saw liquid inside of the gem, and why Zeus's thunderbolts made it fill up more with each strike. Since the gem is powered by Olympian energy, Zeus struck it with his thunderbolts to power it up. The liquid we saw was him supplying the gem with the energy it needed to be powered up, but in the final strike, he overloaded the gem past its max in order to make it go boom. So understanding the first half of the event and what the purpose was for the gem, we can move on to the next big question. Why is the ship setting sail towards our island? Well, the answer to that lies in the reason the sandstorm was created. The giant ball of energy ended up bouncing across the ocean and exploding on a desert island, creating the Olympian sandstorm. But that's not the only thing this explosion did. Given the fact that a boat is sailing towards the island and we know they didn't come from Pandora's box, that can only mean one thing. They were already out there. The group aboard the sharkbait ship, which by the way, I'm getting this name directly from the code name of the ship in the files, was likely inhabiting this desert island out in sea. When the ball of energy exploded onto their island, given their apocalyptic nature, they likely took this as an attack. So when the sandstorm rose up, they took this chance to set sail towards our island, because they planned to absolutely wreck us. This theory also makes sense when you think about the fact that the blinking light we saw with Morse code was actually the tip of their sharkbait ship, and it was spelling out, get wrecked, because they took that energy explosion as an attack on their island, and now they're coming to return the favor. So we've covered pretty much everything about the event except one tiny thing, Zeus's red lightning. To figure this out, we should also take a look at the sandstorm, a result of an explosion of Olympian energy. As you can see, the sandstorm actually glows red too, and we know it was a result of the gem exploding, which leads us right back to Zeus's lightning. This strike was his third and final attempt to charge up the gem and overload it, which means the color red was likely symbolizing the sheer power and exertion he was putting into this final strike. I also personally believe that when Olympians use so much of their power, it turns red, and that's why his lightning was red and why the sandstorm was too, a giant disaster of unstable sandy Olympian energy. So with all of the questions answered about the live event, we can finally understand plain and simple what truly happened. Zeus, in a final effort of destroying mankind, charged up the gem on Pandora's box, a seal run off Olympian power meant to keep the box shut. Zeus overloaded this gem, leading to it cracking open and unleashing all of its unstable Olympian energy. It bounced across the ocean and hit one of the nearby desert islands, angering a group of apocalyptic pirates that live there into setting sail through the sandstorm to come and take their revenge on us. Then that'll lead us straight into season 3, Wrecked. And if you're curious why I'm calling them pirates, it's because they're setting sail from a distant island out at sea, and their boat is themed after a shark called Sharkbait, so it just made sense to me. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to subscribe and like the video. Consider using my code TLL TheReaper in the item shop if you'd like to support me. Until next time, keep it reaping.